How do you go from this?
You talk about the discipline of a head coach instilling certain things into his team and his program. His coaching staff we talked about last week, I told you, might be the best coaching staff in college football. Yeah, they certainly put it on display.
To this.
New York, in Dallas, but yet he keeps it in perspective. Anytime he's asked about the bodacious Heisman campaign.
Shout out to what Coach Prime did off of the field. It is greater in my mind than anything we have seen in any sport, professionally or collegiately. Shout out to what he did off of the field. But on the field, we have to separate our dreams from reality. In our dreams, Colorado was going to compete for a Pac-12 championship. But in reality, they finished the season losing 6 consecutive games.
Over the course of the 2023 season, Colorado managed to turn themselves from likable underdogs to public enemy number 1 for most college football fans. The team finished with a 4-8 record, but possibly got more media attention than any other school in the country. This extra attention most likely led more people to become tired of hearing about Colorado despite their poor performance. Why did Colorado gather so much attention from the media, and when did it all begin? Much of this comes from head coach Deion Sanders and his ability to create headlines and media hype around everything that he does. Like creating a winning football program, these videos take a lot of time and effort. If you're enjoying the video, please consider subscribing. Before he ever thought of coaching, Deion was a polarizing athlete himself. While at Florida State, Sanders was a star multi-sport athlete competing in football, baseball, and track from 1985 to 1988. After college, Sanders played in both the NFL and MLB from 1989 to 2001, with a small resurgence from 2004 to 2005. Similar to the Colorado football program, everything he did was under mass media attention because of his swagger and attitude. He earned his attention through his play and trash talking off the field. He was even given the nickname Primetime by a friend of his in high school, which stuck with him throughout his playing career. Deion was part of 2 Super Bowl winning teams in 1995 and 1996. This, coupled with his 1994 Defensive Player of the Year award as well as 6 first-team All-Pros, was good enough to get him into the Hall of Fame in 2011. Once his playing career was over, Deion remained involved in the media as an NFL analyst. This is also around the time his coaching career began at the high school level. At Trinity Christian, he would serve as the offensive coordinator and had the opportunity to coach all 3 of his sons. Something that Deion would definitely have his eyes set on, as he would elect to take a head coaching role at Jackson State in 2020. Jackson State is a Division I FCS school, the second highest level in college football. Sanders began his introduction by making claims of championships and what he believed he could change for the culture of HBCUs.
I believe that we can reestablish. I believe the men that I sat and looked them in the eyes on a Zoom call yesterday can win SWAC championships.
His son Shiloh Sanders would decide to transfer from South Carolina, a Division I school, to play for his father at Jackson State. Though his first season at Jackson State was abbreviated due to COVID, they would finish 4-3 with a forfeit. Not exactly what Deion had promised, but things were beginning to change. Deion quickly found his new quarterback for Jackson State and his son Shedeur Sanders, and Jackson State would make a quick turnaround. He would deliver on his promise, and the team would finish with a program record 11 wins season and win the SWAC title. They would ultimately lose to South Carolina 31-10 in the Celebration Bowl, but Deion had began to put HBCUs on the map for college football. His most notable achievement while at Jackson State came in the form of a recruit, Travis Hunter.
It's a great moment for my good friend, my HOF teammate. We went in the same year in 2011, Skip. It's a great moment for Jackson State. It's a great moment for HBCUs, historically black colleges and universities, that they got one of the 2 top players in all of college football.
Hunter was a 5-star recruit who originally committed to Sanders' alma mater, Florida State. After a long recruitment and discussion, Travis would decide to change his commitment to Jackson State. He was the first 5-star recruit in the history of college football to sign with his subdivision. Deion would coach his team to another SWAC championship in 2022, but would go on to lose in the Celebration Bowl to North Carolina Central. Because of his success and his high-power recruiting ability, Sanders was able to increase revenue for his low-funded schools and really establish HBCUs. However, things were going to begin to change for Sanders when he decided to take the role of head coach at the University of Colorado for the 2023 season. This immediately sparked some controversy as many believed he was abandoning what he promised to HBCUs. However, his impact to these universities could not be taken away. But where Deion really began to create some controversy and possibly haters for the Colorado Buffaloes came when he said this during his introduction.
We got a few positions already taken care of because I'm bringing my luggage with me. And it's Louis. I'm coming. It ain't gonna be no more of a mess that these wonderful fans, the student body, and some of your parents have put up with for probably 2 decades now.
This would spark what the media called the mass exodus of players leaving Colorado in the transfer portal, and when it was all said and done, 80% of the players from the 2020 season had left. But Deion would defend this by saying it was necessary.
We know what we got coming in. They just don't know. It's no way that I could put new furniture in this beautiful home if we don't clean out the old furniture. And that's not a shot.
I did not expect that. Hey, it's good furniture. Hey, it's good. It's good furniture. Never won any awards for any home good stuff.
It's great furniture. A lot of people love it, and a lot of people gonna love it.
When trying to turn around a 1-11 program from the year before, it's not outlandish to think that you would need to clear room out for better players. But some looked at Sanders' approach as a little aggressive. We'll talk more on this later. Deion in Colorado would end up making room for both his sons as well as Travis Hunter to transfer from Jackson State. They would enter the 2023 season with mass media attention as everyone was looking at what Sanders would bring to Colorado. They would begin their season at 17th ranked TCU, who played in the national championship the year before. Entering the game, they were 21-point underdogs and no one was ready for what was to come. In a thrilling game, Colorado and TCU would trade touchdowns, but in the end, Colorado would end up on top. Sanders would be quick to remind everyone that no one believed they could win.
You know, I have one of those empty moments that I got to reflect on. And these coaches are so good. Rick, George, for giving me the opportunity and just what we accomplished out there today. Ain't none of y'all believe that. Maybe a couple of y'all that knew me and know how I get down. They know I'm a winner. We're going to end up winning. Ain't none of y'all thought you was going to be sitting up here. You was supposed to be on the other side, interviewing that or coming and asking me, well, what happened? You said this and you said that, yeah? Now what?
Colorado would be ranked as the 22nd best team in the nation, and some felt this was premature. However, they would continue their success against their next 2 opponents. The team would defeat Nebraska and move up to 18th in the rankings before defeating rival school Colorado State. Following their narrow victory over Colorado State, they would move back to 19th in the rankings, but their biggest test was just around the corner. Colorado would travel to face Oregon, number 10 in the nation, and they would once again be 21-point underdogs against the team. Some even saying this is a byproduct of the losing Travis Hunter the week prior.
But if you think about what the Travis Hunter loss is for Colorado, I'm a little bit worried about the offensive production. You know, they average 458 yards a game. 418 of them are through the sky.
But I don't think many analysts really talked about the possibility of what Oregon was going to do in just the first half. Colorado would enter halftime with a 35-0 deficit, and the game didn't get much better from there. They were eventually able to find the end zone late in the fourth quarter, but this only cut the deficit to 42-6, which would end up being the final score of the game. Colorado would go on to lose 7 of their next 8 games, but continue to draw a lot of media hype, and not necessarily for the reasons that college football fans enjoyed. After a win over Arizona State, overrated chants broke out from the student section. Shedeur Sanders would approach the student section and flex his expensive watch in the face of Arizona State students. This drew polarizing responses from people in and outside the media. While some NFL players like Garrett Wilson and Breece Hall would embrace his celebration, others called it immature and trashy even. During this string of losses, Colorado would also be favored over Stanford by 13 points, but blow a 29-0 lead at halftime. After the fact, some of the media members would also begin to turn on Colorado and some of the antics that followed the team.
Here's the problem. The players got caught up in the shine their coach generated. And I'm calling out his son, Shedeur Sanders, who I love and I think has star written all over him. But whether it was you or by accident it was somebody on your social media team, you cannot have something being posted at halftime of a damn game. Tom Brady and your dad already joked with you about what you were driving around with and how you needed to be in the film room. Well, guess what? It is no longer a laughing matter. Y'all are getting your ass kicked.
After the season concluded, Colorado has continued to make waves in the media with large changes to the roster. An additional 48 players have transferred out of Colorado and 39 transferred into the program. This seems to be a point of contention for college football fans, as no team has ever really utilized the portal in such a manner, removing and pursuing talent. More controversy was sparked after an Athletic article was written that talked about where Colorado transfers landed in their experience with Deion and the team. Xavier Smith drew a lot of attention after saying,
I was actually getting mad, like tears coming to my eyes, because, bro, you never even tried to get to know me. Xavier Smith recalls Deion Sanders telling him he should enter the spring transfer portal. He was destroying guys' confidence and belief in themselves. The way he did it, it could have been done with a little more compassion.
This then sparked a lot of controversy online, as Shedeur Sanders would take to Twitter and say he didn't remember him and he was probably mids at best. Shedeur would receive a lot of backlash online, but Deion would come to his defense. He replied to somebody tweeting about his son, telling him that he would be a top draft pick in the NFL and asking him where his son would be drafted. Clearly more polarizing comments that would cause a rift in how people feel about both Colorado and Sanders himself. Nick Saban, the former head coach of the Alabama Crimson Tide, retired after the 2023 season and had some words to share on the NIL and transferring. He said, "I thought we could have a hell of a team next year, and then maybe 70 or 80% of the players you talk to, all they want to know is two things. What assurance do I have that I'm going to play because they're thinking about transferring, and how much are you going to pay me?" While he went on to say he didn't think this was a bad thing for players or college football as a whole, he said it was not the process that was responsible for the success of his team from years prior. It's clear that Deion Sanders does not share his same outlook on this, as most of his team's hype and players are built around NIL and transferring. It will not be clear for years who is correct. What are your thoughts on Colorado, and do you think Deion is good for the game of college football? I love reading everyone's comments, and I try to respond to as many as I can.